What's up, chit chat, chitty chitty chat chat? This is Chandler. Obviously, this is my podcast. The intro is always super freaking awkward, but I am really excited because I wanted to record a solo episode. I keep getting this question consistently. It feels like why do you do what you do? What is your quote unquote, what is your why? And it doesn't necessarily come in that form of hey, what is your why? But people do say okay, what do you do? And so you have that basic introduction of, hi, I'm Chandler. I'm a business mentor and a content coach. You've got that part down. But then it's why do you do that? Why, how did you get into this business? Why do you keep doing it? Why are you so passionate about it? And to me, sometimes it feels really tough to just answer that and be concise with it, but also get across my mission and why it is so important to me of what I'm doing in this business, other than just the fact that I'm a psycho and I like to work hard and I'm hustling and it just feels really fulfilling to me. It's I can't just say that because there's so much more to it. So when I got this question for the last time, which was a week ago, and I thought to myself, why do I do this? There's so much depth to why I do what I do. And honestly, it comes from my entire past. And it comes from me disappointing myself over and over and over again and not living up to my potential. And also trying to live a life that I thought that I should be living, trying to look good on paper and allowing that to basically punch me in the face and tell me, listen, you can have these prestigious titles, you can be successful, you can get these awards, you can do all these things, and you're still not going to feel super fulfilled. The work comes from within, the work comes from actually connecting with other people and making a difference in the world. So having said all of that, last year at Turn Up Conference, if you don't know what Turn Up Conference is, what are you doing, first of all? But second of all, Turn Up Dance Fitness is my sister's dance format that she created. And she has a conference every summer where we all come together, and it's the most magical long weekend. It's truly a dream. It's my favorite thing. It's better than Christmas. Actually, nothing's better than Christmas, but you know what I mean. Last year, I got to be an on-stage speaker. And honestly, this conference has shaped a lot of who I am, a lot of the things that I do, a lot of the action that I take. Really, it has. And it's not just because it's my sister's conference. It probably is because I've been consistently going and putting myself in the room. I think there's so much freaking power when you put yourself in the room. But also, I got to be a speaker on stage last year. And this was my second time actually speaking. There's been 5 conferences, by the way. This is going to be this year. We're going in 2 weeks. It's our 6th annual. It's our. I don't know why I'm saying our. It's Turn Up is not mine, but I feel like it kind of is. At least I want a little slice of that pie, but it is my sister's, and it is her 6th annual conference this summer. So last year was the 5th one, and it was my second time being a speaker. The first time I was a speaker, I was talking all about my weightlifting and my fitness journey, etc., and all of the depth that came with that. But this year, I did it differently. And I remember being I remember being really nervous about my speech because my speech was my story. And a lot of times, when you get called to be a speaker on stage, you think, how can I make impact on the crowd? How can I serve the crowd? And when I tell my own story, I'm how is this going to make a difference on people or, make an impact on people? But at the same time, I was well, I do think my story is very relatable. And I think that I'm doing this thing called storytelling, quote unquote, while also allowing people to see themselves within my story. And it's transferable. Everything that I mentioned in this speech is transferable into what other people are going through. So today on this podcast episode, to explain why I do what I do, I thought it would be really cool for me to run through the speech that I gave on stage at Turn Up Conference last year, because it does give you so much insight into my why. But also I think it's going to be really powerful for you to just hear this story and, I don't know, let it sink in, absorb it, just enjoy the show, but also listen to the parts of this story that give you a nudge and make you feel either uncomfortable or make you feel you maybe want to cry. At a lot of points during the speech, I looked up and people were in the crowd crying. And Anyway, it was a magical moment. I'm very grateful that I got to be a speaker and I got to tell this story. And I I always like try to do the most. So the first thing that I think about when I'm a speaker on stage is, what am I going to wear? Like, I'm not even going to lie. That is the first thing that I think about for anything, truly, is what am I going to wear? I have so much fun dressing up. But the second thing is like my intro song. Like, I'm always thinking about, like, what's my walk-up song going to be? So I actually made my own. I edited my own walk-up song, and it was so cool. It was the intro from the song Castle by Halsey. I love Halsey, but this was like one of her throwback songs. And I recorded my voice over top of the intro, like basically like as my inner voice saying things that are kind of mean to myself. And I called my entire speech Unblocked. That was the title of the speech. But this intro was so cool because the lights were off and it was like playing really loud. And I'll try to actually link the version that I made because it's so freaking cool. And that's the intentionality that I put into these things. I think every single little detail matters. But as I was coming up to give my speech, I wanted this to be a different sort of walk-up song where it was like people could start to like get on the same page as me of what I was going to talk about. Okay. So I'm going to read through this. I still have the speech obviously in my notes. So I'm going to read through it. And this is my first time reading it since last year. So I'm going to read this as if I'm on stage again. So just imagine I just come up and my cool intro song, the lights were off. I get on stage and then I go into my story. I also had some pictures that were on the big screens, right? Like there was one to the left of me and one to the right of me. So I had some pictures. So there's a couple times throughout the speech where I do refer to those pictures. So obviously I can't show you those pictures in a podcast episode, but just know like there was that as well added into the speech, which I think added another extra layer of connection to the story. All right, Unblocked, how my story turned into my personal brand. Before we dive in, I have to show you this picture because this is the room where a lot of this breakthrough of unblocking began for me. And so I gave this picture. Now I'm like doing ad lib during my speech, but the picture was literally back in whatever year it was, 2019 maybe, when the first Turn Up conference was. And I remember that room being so transformative for me. There was only like 60 women that signed up for the conference that year, which we were like, holy crap, that's a lot of people. Now it's hundreds of people, but back then it was like, man, this is so cool. 60 of us in the room. Anyway, let me get back to the speech. This is the very first Turn Up conference in 2019. And in this very room, I was stationed as DJ during the empowerment session. And I remember this moment moving me to actual sobbing tears. I'm going to explain exactly why in a moment, but I wanted to start here and open up about what Turn Up means to me. Turn Up is a portal. It's a vehicle that can get you to move, literally and figuratively. It's an energy that you can't see, you can't touch, hear, smell, or taste. It's unmatched, and although I may be biased, I am also Tansie's toughest critic. Tansie is my sister, by the way. When I say that magic can happen for you here, I need you to take that from me and let it absorb inside of you, because just showing up isn't going to be the magic. It's actually the unblocking yourself in which will let the magic in. Let's get into it. You might hear me say the word brand throughout this presentation, so let me dissect this word with you just to make sure we're all aligned here. Brand to me is what we stand for. It's our unseen skeleton. It's a combination of our personality and our core values. It's not a color. It's not a font. It's not a billboard. It's not a title. It's nothing other than how you represent yourself. It's actually undefined. And the reason it's tricky is because your identity can't be put into a box, and it can't really be titled. And to add to that, it's also ever evolving. In 2009, I graduated from high school. I was a terrible student, by the way. I just did not care about school, and I wanted nothing to do with homework nor grades. Somehow, I did the bare minimum and used my basketball skills to then make it into college. I ended up making the varsity team my freshman year of college, and I was a starter, which was a huge accomplishment and one that truly boosted my ego and my pride. I was told by everyone that I was going to be the next best thing as a female collegiate basketball player. You see, I was naturally very good at basketball. It came very easy to me because I'm tall and I'm also gifted with athleticism. What they don't mention when they're telling you how good you're going to be is that you're going to have to want it. And to be completely honest, I don't know if I ever really did. So although I was good, I was never great. And it could bring me to tears because I actually still carry this guilt with me, but I wasted my potential. Then, in 2013, I graduated with my Bachelor of Science degree in biology as a pre-med track. I have always loved silence. Goodness. I've always loved science. The ongoing joke is that I am the girl that polished rocks as a kid. Any fellow rock polishers in the building? I literally remember people cheering after I said that. It was so cool. But I literally had like a rock tumbler. Okay, back to the speech. I felt very proud to graduate with such prestigious degree and claim that I was going to move forward and potentially become Dr. Chan. No shocker here, but I never became a doctor. I barely scrapped by in school. I think I literally graduated with like a 2.9 or maybe a 3.0 if we're pushing it. And while most of you might be thinking, well, biology is hard, that is where I would disagree. Biology was never hard for me. Nothing about school was hard for me. I just didn't care. And to add, I didn't want to be a doctor. Moving on to 2015, since I was completely lost in my life after I graduated college and left behind my identity of being a basketball player, I became a teacher. I taught 7th grade biology in Florida. I did this for 2 years. I won the Rookie Teacher of the Year award, and I can still remember how it felt to hear my name as the winner across the PA system and my students going wild in my classroom cheering me on. I actually really enjoyed that job, especially after I had proof that I was good at it. Even only making $35,000 per year, I never dreaded that work. But when I won Rookie Teacher of the Year, I knew I was going to get a bonus. And when that bonus came in the mail, in a small white envelope, I ripped it open so fast, only to see that my bonus was $250 for the year for that award. Something didn't feel right about that. I have never actually been driven by money because I felt like that was a greedy thing to do. I felt shame around even talking about wanting more money. But I was 23 years old and had quite literally no money to my name, and I felt I was worth more. So I quit. In 2017, I interviewed for 8 straight months to land a job in the highly impressive world of medical device sales. I was a rep at the University of Michigan. Doesn't that just sound prestigious to you? I felt so good saying it. But here's a story that I'll never forget. I was in between procedures and surgeries running in and out of the operating room, and I had to use the restroom so badly. I drank a lot of water. I ran to the bathroom and sat down to pee as quickly as possible, more focused on getting up, and without realizing I completely missed the toilet and I peed all over my scrubs. I was humiliated because I had to walk back out of that door where everyone travels in the hallways and hope that nobody saw that I practically peed myself before I could grab a new pair of scrubs. In this role, I was making well into multi-six figures, but spending my days on someone else's time and also peeing on myself. And I thought, this ain't it. There are so many more signs to my story that led me to what I'm going to share next. But those are enough to get to the point now. All that time I was thinking life was about the ultimate intro. Hi, I'm Chandler and I play college basketball. Not many people do that. So anytime I introduced myself, I got a, oh my God, wow. And that always felt good for about 0.5 seconds. Hi, I'm Chandler and I'm studying to be a doctor. This introduction was always met with a, oh my God, wow. And it allowed me to take a break from what I was actually feeling on the inside and instead had me feeling good about myself for about half a second. Hi, I'm Chandler and I'm a teacher and I won Rookie Teacher of the Year. This introduction had people saying, oh my God, wow. And even though I knew I was settling for a job that didn't allow me to shine as bright as I could, it did make me feel good for about 0.5 seconds. Hi, I'm Chandler and I am in the medical device sales for a robotic surgery company. Oh my God, wow, they would say. I wondered if they assumed I made a lot of money, but with the addition of robotic surgery, maybe they'd also assume I was smart and I worked hard. All things I wish I was. So if they were thinking it, then I could be that for 0.5 seconds. For a while, I thought it was all about the intro. thinking if I just had a good intro, then I could also feel good on the inside. That's what life's about. But here's my question. Do you ever try to outshine yourself over and over and over again? Thinking that maybe if you could shine bright from the inside, then it would be enough for you to shine within yourself. Let me say that again. I messed that up. Thinking that if you could shine bright from the outside, then it would be enough for you to see the shine within yourself. I've shared this story before, but I want to share with you a different perspective today. I had a panic attack in 2020 during quarantine, and I really attribute that to losing all of those identities and having to sit with myself and not being able to be anything but me. I didn't know who I really was. I didn't know how to introduce myself when everything shut down and I no longer had a title to lean on. But the thing is, that moment wasn't as pivotal in the moment as I'm making it out to be up here. I think sometimes you hear stories like mine and think, when will my pivotal moment come? And perhaps it already has. I'm extremely blessed to not have a catastrophic event that led to this pivot. You don't need hardship to have a breakthrough. You can have a breakthrough whenever the F you want. Hi, I'm Chandler. I am a daughter, a sister. I am a little sister. You might know my sister. She quite literally owns every room that she walks into. She is insanely charming, insanely kind, insanely selfless. She is creative beyond measure and has these ideas that continue to blow my mind. She is beauty to the extreme, but she really has more drive than anyone I know. She has tenacity, and she is everything that I am not. You see, basketball, school, dancing, turn up, it never came easy to her. She just has more want, more determination than you could ever imagine, and it has led her to magical places. I'm not a victim of being Tansey's sister, but it's not always easy. I used to claim she was my role model until I felt I couldn't run from her shadow. I don't know how to say this and make it make sense, but because she's so powerful and so special, I've lived my life allowing her to pave my way, combined with doing whatever I can to also make her proud, even though she's the most proud of me this entire time. Thinking to myself, if this person that is so special could be proud of me, well, then I must be special too. I realized not only was I fighting to outshine myself with these accolades, these achievements, these titles, but I was fighting to outshine the shiniest person I've ever met. So I bring you back to this room, which is crazy because it was in this town only 5 years later. I broke down in this room. I was trying to play it cool because emotions are hard for me and vulnerability feels really uncomfy, as it does for all of us. I tried holding back my tears, hiding behind being the DJ because I couldn't explain them, and I can't really tell you exactly why to this day, but it washed over me that I am special. I do have more to give. And I am more than what I use as an introduction, but I'm blocking myself from my own magic by trying to claim an impressive title. I wasn't fighting myself, I was blocking myself. Greatness has always been a part of me, and it's also a part of you. I have always been quote unquote successful, regardless of my occupation or accomplishments. I'm sharing my story today with full transparency that I am still working through this challenge. The symptom of blocking yourself is simply not feeling proud of who you are if you were to take everything away from your current circumstance and be left with nothing but yourself. It can't be fixed. It can only transform. It requires digging deep and making a decision that needs to be made every single day. In my current situation, I struggle to define who I am in business, what I do, and who I help. But I've had this revelation about branding. What if we can't be defined? What if unblocking ourselves was a simple proclamation of declaring that we are unfinished and falling in love with that idea? What if our brand is actually our mission to become the most ourselves that we could ever be? Even if it's hurtful, even if it's ugly, even if we have a hard time feeling proud to introduce ourselves because we can barely articulate it. I was yearning to feel unblocked. I was yearning to free myself from myself. I was yearning to look in the mirror and feel proud of the reflection staring back at me. So, I took action after being in this building in 2019. I started showing up on social media, which led me to joining Beachbody, which then led me to joining another network marketing company, which then led me to starting my own LLC and entering my boss babe era. The crazy thing about the boss babe era is nothing makes sense. It doesn't come easy to me whatsoever, and yet I want it so badly. So if we can unblock ourselves through uncovering our own brand, which is our personality, our identity, then how do we discover what our brand is? Well, we fail at it over and over and over again. I am astonished at this entrepreneurial lifestyle and just how much it has revealed me to myself. But my latest revelation about all of this is that our brand can't be anyone else's, and our brand has to be discovered through personal growth, and our brand can't be chosen from a menu of options. It has to be created from within. All this time I was waiting for my title to light me up. I was waiting for my title to allow me to be me, and it was only limiting me. And I learned that a title doesn't do me justice. So, hi. Thank you. Whew. That is where the speech ended. And man, it just felt really good to get this out there. But it's crazy. Even as I read this, I have crazy goosebumps on me right now because I still stand for this. And this was a year ago, but it's also holy shit. I realized I've come so far in just a year. Even since writing this, my mission hasn't changed. But the part where I'm it's hitting me. I had this breakthrough moment. I had this revelation that building this brand, being an entrepreneur, going through what I'm going through and building my business, that is it. So when someone asks me, what is your why? Why do you do what you do? It's this. Yeah, I do what I do to help other people, but I do what I do selfishly for me so that I can go to sleep at night knowing I am truly stretching myself. I am truly getting to my edge. I am truly tasting what life is about, and I'm not on autopilot. I'm not coasting. I'm not doing what I should be doing. I'm doing what is going to challenge me the most, what is going to light me up the most. And what lights me up the most is figuring myself out. And the only way I can figure myself out is by taking risks, by putting myself out there, by getting better every single day. You guys, I intentionally choose to get better every single day. I don't know a single person who listens to more personal power development and business growth tips and tricks. That's all I do all day. I study all day long. And I never was like this with anything that I ever did. I never cared about school like this. I didn't care. I was a collegiate basketball player and I did the bare minimum. I didn't care about anything until this. And to care about something, to be in love and totally obsessed with something, that's why I do what I do, because I'm obsessed with it. Maybe that's my new answer. I'm obsessed with what I do. That's why I do it. I mean, honestly, the typical standard answer that you usually hear people say is so that I can make impact on people, so that I can change the world, so that I can, whatever, provide for my family. All of those things, yes, are true. But at the end of the day, why do I do what I do? My why is that I'm fully, completely, madly in love with what I'm building and who I'm becoming along the way and who I have to become when I want to get to that next level. It's that's the thing too, is I don't sit down anymore and think about revenue goals or how many people do I want in this offer or how many one-on-one clients do I want. I don't even think about it that way. I literally think to myself, okay, if I want 50 people in my next offer, who do I have to become to hold that? What parts of me do I have to evolve and expand and get uncomfy with in order to hold that and make that a reality? The action for me, taking the action of posting, selling, going live on Instagram, sending emails, creating a page, done. Those things are so surface level to me these days. I can do that. That's not a problem. That doesn't stretch me anymore. At one point it did. But now it's it's not about the action. It's not about the income producing activities. To me, it's what type of woman in Chandler's body would I have to be to make sure 50 people want to join me? And that's not a matter of posting every single day. That's now going deeper. What do I say in my post? What type of woman am I to become a no-brainer for 50 women at any price point? Whew. Okay. So that was my speech. That is my why. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that you found this entertaining at least. But yeah, it was like interesting to give that speech. I got so much feedback, which felt so good. I got so much love. I made so many connections from that speech. And all the while I was questioning sharing my story out of lack of maybe not connecting with the crowd. So I think that's another reminder here is like, you can't share your story enough. You can't share your message enough because people see themselves in your message versus always talking at people. Anyway, I'm going to end that here. I love you so much. I hope you have an amazing freaking day, and I will chat with you soon.